As the most senior member of the House Armed Services Committee on the Democratic side, Smith is briefed all the time on our nation's most sensitive military operations. He knows operational security inside and out, and he joins us live on Seattle's Morning News. Congressman Smith, as we take to the air right now, Jeffrey Goldberg has published new information on theatlantic.com where he says that Defense Secretary Hegseth gave specific times, weapons, and targeted people in that thread. What do you make of this?
I mean, this is shocking to begin with, and just a complete breach of protocol, and incredibly dangerous. I have read through what Jeffrey Goldberg released today, and he is giving real-time targeting data, launch information. He is basically sharing the play, if you will, with anyone who wants to listen a couple hours in advance of the actual attack, even in advance of when the missiles and the planes were launched. And he is sharing this over an unsecure network in great detail. This is a huge violation of the rules of how you're supposed to run the Pentagon, and just points to a level of incompetence that is truly shocking. I mean, sharing this on a Signal app. I mean, I think at this point we all know what Signal is. I don't think anybody would think that it is a place where you should share the most sensitive information. And just to be clear, if this information is accessed by people, our adversaries would know better when we're coming and how to respond. This places service members' lives in danger in addition to jeopardizing the mission, and it is hard to imagine anybody with any experience in these matters at the Pentagon or elsewhere being so stupid as to have done it this way.
Because of your work on the House Armed Services Committee, give us an idea of how that information is shared with you. If there is an upcoming military strike, I'm sure you are read in, at least at times, as to what's happening. How is that information shared with you?
Yeah, well, first of all, they will call me contemporaneously from time to time, but they never give me operational details. They will simply say, hey, just so you know, pay attention, we're starting an operation. They give the broad area where it's happening, but they will not tell me specifically where or what's going on. And most of the time, those calls come to us after the attacks, well, all of the time, actually, after the attacks have taken place and been launched. If we're going to have a conversation about those details, there are secure phones. I go down to the FBI building in Seattle all the time, and they have a secure phone on the Secure Situation Room National Security Council network that is secure. And that is where you have those conversations. So there are plenty of places to do it that don't involve using a random app that everybody else uses for group chats.
We're talking with Democratic Congressman Adam Smith. What would happen if a senior staffer on the House Armed Services Committee started a group thread on Signal, shared sensitive information, and you or even your Republican chairman, Congressman Mike Rogers, one of you found out about it?
They'd be fired before you finish that sentence. I mean, there's simply no way you can keep somebody who would do something like that. I mean, and also, let me just speak up on behalf of my staff on the House Armed Services Committee, incredibly talented people. They would never in a million years do anything close to this because they know better. And look, this points to a larger problem with the Trump administration. You know, Pete Hegseth should have never been given this job in the first place. I said nobody with any experience would do this. Well, I guess we can give Hegseth a break because he didn't have any experience. He'd never worked in the Pentagon. He'd never even planned missions within the military. Yes, he served the country and served the country well as a member of the military in combat situations, but he'd never been part of an operational situation. He never worked at the Pentagon. I mean, the Trump administration is appointing people based on loyalty, based on their willingness to suck up to Donald Trump 24/7, not based on their ability, which makes it all the more shocking that they're doing this forgive me, jihad against DEI. You know, DEI is not the problem. Hiring incompetent people is the problem, regardless of their race, color, religion, ethnicity, or anything. And the Trump administration has picked people who clearly, and we knew this even before this happened. Yeah, I said it, a whole bunch of people said it. He wasn't qualified for the job. And he's not the only one who has been picked based on his loyalty to Trump, even though he's completely unqualified for the position.
With that being said, is there anything Democrats can do here? Republicans are in charge, and they don't seem to want to investigate this.
Yeah, no, it's a huge problem. They don't want any accountability. And look, this is unprecedented. I know everyone thinks, all politicians, the system, they're all terrible and awful. Trump isn't any different. He's a lot different. There was an example just last year. Secretary Austin, under Joe Biden, did not inform the president when he went to the hospital. That's not good. You're not supposed to do that. So we called for an investigation, bipartisan. Secretary Austin came in, testified before the House Armed Services Committee. In a bipartisan way, we held him to account. The Republicans right now, they won't question anything Trump does. That's bad for democracy, and it's bad for the country. Now, what we can do is we can spread the message. We have got to build more support. If the Republicans are in charge, but they are not responding to the American people, then we let the American people know that. The American people put pressure on the Republicans, and they realize that they have to respond. And I am more unsatisfied with that answer than anybody else. But the numbers are the numbers. We have to fight to change public opinion, to get public opinion to say it's not okay for Donald Trump to run the country this way, and every elected Republican ought to be held accountable for not holding him accountable.
Washington Congressman Adam Smith on the House Armed Services Committee, its ranking member. Congressman Smith, thanks for your time this morning.